it's crazy. We have that stuff happen for people all the time, where they come in and they're just like, I tried to pick up my kid and I injured my shoulder. And I mean, it's funny, right? Like we're talking about it. When those people walk in, they're so demoralized.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how could I not pick up my little kid and stuff? And I mean, it's we've all had that moment where we're like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Coming to you straight from Fremont, California, this is the Fremont Podcast, dedicated to telling the stories of the past and present of the people and places of the city of Fremont, one conversation at a time.
Hello Fremont, this is Alkesh. We are at the Ivington Market headed to Apnabal Bazaar. You are listening to episode 56 of the Fremont Podcast.
Now, here's your host, Ricky B.
I'm the only one without a T-shirt. What?
We're ready. We're ready for you to have a T-shirt. We're absolutely ready for you to have a T-shirt.
Well, I spoiled it. So I spoiled it on the air. So that's
all right. It's perfect.
So Miguel, Own It Fitness. How long have you been in Fremont? We'll start with you personally, and then let's talk about your business.
So personally, I've been on and off in Fremont for about 15 to 20 years. I went to Horner Junior High when it was a junior high, and then I went to Irvington, graduated 2002. Go Vikings still.
I have a hard time saying go Vikings, even though it's I'm a Packer fan, and the Vikings, just whether it's high school or whatever.
This might have to end right now because I'm a 49ers fan, and this is it.
Well, that was a wrap.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much for coming.
All right. So anyway, we got past that moment. I think we'll survive the rest of the conversation.
I think so.
Okay. So went to Irvington, go Vikings.
So yeah, I went to Irvington, graduated 2002, and then I moved out of the area into the Livermore area and stuff, and then I've been on and off back in Fremont, a couple of times and stuff, and we've kind of settled here, my girlfriend, my daughter, and I, over the last couple of years, and now that I have the business, like this is where we're planning to stay. Like we really like Fremont too. Like it's a good town. I feel like it's a good place. We're getting ready to enroll my daughter in TK here pretty soon.
Wow.
She's 4, but we're trying to get ready for it.
Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome. So you've been here off and on. How old or how long have you been the owner of Own It Fitness?
So I started Own It Fitness in 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Wow.
And so that was kind of like, I had toyed with the idea several years. I've been in fitness for almost 12 years now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't look like you just decided to pick it up during COVID.
It's the shirt. Thank you. It's the shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been a fitness trainer for about 12 years, and other gyms or? Yeah.
So I worked for 24-hour fitness for about almost 10 years. And I worked in different areas of it. I was a personal trainer most of the time, but I actually was a fitness manager and a district fitness captain. So I've been around the fitness particular part of that business for a really long time. And in 2018, I was injured. And I had to have surgery on my hip. I had to have my labrum repaired, and then I also had a couple other things going on with my hip. So I was out for about a year and a half. And, so basically, I was cleared to go back to light duty in 2020.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, we're sitting in a pandemic. And so I didn't have a job to go back to. The assumption was I was going to be able to go back after the pandemic. Obviously, nobody knew how long it was going to last. But one of the things that happened is in May of 2020, 24-hour fitness, they let go of 5,000 of us. And so I basically went from being on disability to being unemployed, or to being on furlough and then being unemployed. And I was kind of like, what am I going to do? I've got a kid, my girlfriend, they're counting on me. I have to figure something out. I've been in fitness. I don't want to leave fitness. So I decided that I was going to open up my own company, starting with Zoom sessions. So we started there. I basically was training people in my bedroom. So every morning, about 6:30 in the morning, I would tear my bedroom up, move the bed, and put up my screen so nobody could see my kid's crib and their changing table and whatnot. And then I would train people, throughout the day. It got to the point where I was training about 6 to 8 sessions a day in the room. And, it was great because I was still doing what I loved. It was definitely a pivot because I had been in person my whole career.
Right.
And so figuring that out and the nuances of how that works and just like the engagement was challenging. But, it was something I wanted to learn. And so I was able to, from there, we were able to get the family into an actual house in Niles from the townhome we were in.
Okay.
And so I basically invested in a bunch of equipment, built a gym in the garage.
Wow.
Did that for most of 2020 or all of 2021.
So you went from your kid's bedroom into a garage in Niles.
Yes. Well, the master bedroom. I don't want to embellish too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean that was it. So we did that, and then in 2021 I was able to start seeing people in person.
Wow.
So I'm really fortunate. I have some great clients, great people that I work with. So they were really flexible with that. And, because where I was it wasn't the easiest place to reach, right? And so from there, all of 2021, I was training either on Zoom in the garage or I was training people in person. And Taylor actually is one of my clients still.
Did you start on Zoom, Taylor?
No, my job was on Zoom at that time.
What were you doing?
I'm a part-time counselor at Ohlone.
Okay.
So I was completely on Zoom at that time. And I joined when he moved to his bigger house, and we trained in the garage.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Were you guys friends before, or did you guys know each other?
Yeah, we knew I had trained her at 24 hours.
Oh,
yeah.
Before,
nice.
So, yeah.
Very cool. All right. So you started seeing people in person and then also online still at that point. And then at what point did you decide or start looking for an actual gym? I mean, if it was going well out of your garage, I mean, that seems like it would have been great, but you moved into a location here.
Right.
Yeah. Well, how did that all unfold?
So when this whole journey for me has been all about like just taking calculated risks. And so I talk about it a lot with clientele and just people, when they ask me like, well, how the heck did you do that? Cause I mean, it was challenging. Right. And I know that there are other people that go through that process, but even when I get asked by other people that are like, say, trying to do a fitness business and things like that, they're like, well, how did you do that? Like, it just sounds crazy that you did all that stuff. And it was just a matter of just continually pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And for me, it was a necessity. Like I had to do it. Like I can't just say, oh, well, I'm just going to, I push myself out of my comfort zone. Like a lot of my journey has a lot to do with my family, particularly supporting my daughter. Like I want not only to be able to support her, but I also, when she's older and she looks back at this and says, well, why did you do it? I want her to know that I did everything that I could to succeed and be successful and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I just had to have something that was a big motivator for me. Yeah. And the other thing too is I love helping people. And so in order for me to really focus on being able to help people get, to their fitness goals and just to be more confident and sure of themselves, like I had to go through that process to be able to, you have to live that process to be able to teach it. Right.
Yeah.
And so that was a big motivator for me. It's just the people around me.
You kind of talk. That's awesome, by the way. You're kind of hinting around it or talking around it, but I want to ask the question specifically, like, what is it that got you into fitness, got you doing what you're doing, and then like, what is the thing that keeps motivating you? Like what is it that you love about doing what you're doing? And you've kind of already said some of those things, but like, was there anything specifically about like training, coaching, doing whatever that got you into this industry in the first place? And then like, and just I'm imagining as well, going from having to have hip surgery to where you're just kind of laid out. And I had knee surgery when I was 15 years old. I had 2 of them. And I thought the doctor actually told me that I probably wasn't going to be able to walk again without a limp the rest of my life. Wow. So I was like devastated. Like I was an athlete. I played basketball and I played soccer and I loved it, and then to kind of like go through that moment of like I'm going to be the guy that can't do anything because I can't, because I can't walk right, going from that to, then finally when I was able to recover and have full recovery to where I played sports in college even, it's just like one of those things where it almost seems like, am I ever going to be able to do what I love again, So I'm just curious for you, going from your surgery in 2018, trying to get back on your feet and then getting hit with COVID and all that. What was at the heart of all of that you were doing? Like what makes you love what you do?
That's a good question. It's a deep question because I do think about.
I just spent 5 minutes asking one question.
That's all right. That's okay. It's a good lead up, right? Good lead up. I think one of my base beliefs and ideals is that if somebody can find a way to be successful in their fitness goals, that can transfer to any kind of other goal or aspiration that they have. Because fitness is hard. It's very difficult. It's hard. And I'm
glad you say that. I'm not going to derail you, but I'm glad you say that because I was an athlete in high school and in college, and it was easy for me then. And it's hard for me now. Mm-hmm. When I try to lose the extra weight that I have and to get in shape, it's hard. And it's discouraging because I feel like, I thought this was so easy before. Why can't I do it now?
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that. Meeting those goals, those fitness goals are hard. That's where you were at. And I think that's really important to emphasize. We'll be right back. You can hear the rest of this conversation in just a moment. Dale Hardware is now ready to open their own pet center. Now you can get all of your pet supplies. You can get everything you need for your furry friends right at Dale Hardware. On top of that, Dale Hardware is the only hardware store in the country that has a destination center for Milwaukee tools. There are more Milwaukee tools under that roof than any other retail establishment in the country. Even with these big changes, the heart of Dale Hardware has not changed. So come on down to Dale Hardware and let a specialist help you find exactly what you're looking for with the type of care and attention that hasn't changed for over 65 years. Buying a home is a big decision. When I'm trying to make a big decision in my life, I turn to family. Family generally has my well-being in mind. They want the best for me. Whenever I visit Jennifer at Petrocelli Homes in Niles, she treats me like family. If you're in the process of buying or selling a home, turn to family. Turn to Petrocelli Homes. And now, back to our conversation. That's where you were at, and I think that's really important to emphasize.
Right, it is important, and I mean, I'll give you an example. I mean, I'll answer the question, but I'll give you an example too. I was an athlete in high school. Right, I did some just some leisure stuff in junior college when I went to junior college and stuff, and one of the big things that we run into all the time is or I've run into this in my career. Where I used to be an athlete in high school, I used to be an athlete in college, and what you're doing in college versus when I'm almost 40. I'm going to be 40 in June. Mm-hmm. It's not the same thing. No. It's not the same thing. You don't have the same demands. You don't have the same responsibilities. You don't have the same stresses. So it is unrealistic for a person, any person, regardless of how involved you are with any kind of fitness, for you to say, oh, because I did it when I was 20, I can still do it when I'm, 30, 40, or 50. Yeah. And every 10 years, your body goes through a physiological change. So you physically cannot do the same stuff generally, or you cannot do it at the same capacity.
Yeah, you're a different person. I mean,
Yes.
you've kind of changed into a different person, mentally, physically, all of those things.
Yes.
I had some things that were very unique. Like my vertical, I could jump 36 inches, 36 inches plus. And, I hit my head on the backboard of a basketball goal when I was in high school.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. but I look at that and I think I can barely even touch the rim now on a basketball court, and it's just discouraging. Like my body is I feel like it's a completely different thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people forget. is this not? Because I mean, like when you're a high school athlete, which is generally that's what the majority of people are. You don't have, you get collegiate, that's a lot smaller, and even at a pro, like there's almost no pro level athletes. But you're just, there's so many other things that happen after that point in your life. I mean, like me, I have a hip injury, so I'm still recovering from that from 2018. I don't squat as much as I used to squat. I had to change what I did, and this is something I do every day. Well, I don't squat every day, but you know what I'm saying, right? So it's something that I've had to change, and I've had to accept that. Now, does that mean I'm not going to continue doing what I want to do? No, I'm just changing the way that I do it so that I can either try to get back to where I was or find a new position that I'm comfortable with. Like I tell people all the time, like, when everybody tells me, well, you must eat like perfectly all the time, and you must be in such good shape and this and that. Now, I'm doing my best for where I'm at right now. I got a 4-year-old. We got a lot of goldfish in the house. There's a lot of wanting pizza.
That's right.
That's right. There's a lot of, hey, Daddy, do you want to share these candies with me? and so like those are normal things for the people, like the people that we see or the people that we're assisting. Like they're people that are, they're working, they have kids, they're just trying to, they're trying to lose weight, they're trying to get stronger, but they just really want to move better. They just want to
let's talk about that for a minute. Like, I can't remember if you said that already in our conversation or if it was before we started recording, but who is the clientele? Like, you have a specific clientele that you're targeting with your Own It Fitness.
Right. So we have, we basically are working with people that are like anywhere from 35 to 45 or 35 to 50. They're usually working professionals. They have families, and they're usually trying to lose weight. They're trying to get stronger. They're trying to increase their energy, and they're just trying to move better. So, we're not going to turn away elite athletes if they want to come in here, but that's not who we're focused on, right?
George Kittle.
Yeah, that's right.
You can come on. You can come on down here. Perfect. We'll get you in shape.
But that's not our focus. Is helping people that are struggling. The people that are like, you know what? I'll never be fit again. I just can't do it. Or they've generally people that come to see us. They've worked with other personal trainers, or they've worked in other fitness programs, and it's not customized properly for them, or it's not the right fit. And so we even say that here, like if somebody's not the right fit for us, we're not a one-stop shop. That's not how people get fit. That's not how people succeed. You have to find the right setup for yourself. So that's really what we try to focus on.
That's great. So when you talk, and I love that too, that the clientele that you're looking at, the people, the professionals that are clients here of yours, they can have some of the same challenges that you also are going through. They are dealing with having to share, candy with their kids and dealing with all the...
Don't forget the goldfish.
The goldfish, the goldfish and the pizza, and all that stuff. So, so that's great. I think that's a great way to be able to say these are the people specifically that we want to connect with because we can relate. We're not trying to give them. And I was actually just talking with someone about this. I think yesterday, or maybe it was a few days ago. But I was just talking about I was thinking about it because when I've got a membership to a gym before. I know it doesn't look like it, but I did. And I was, I had a membership to a gym, and I'd go through the initial training. This is what you need to do. And I think in that moment, like my memory was like, here's this young kid, he's a gym rat, and all, he's doing all this stuff, and he's trying to tell me, like, I have a lot to learn from him. I'm not saying that I don't, but I'm just like, do I have the same challenges that he has?
Yeah.
Or does he have the same challenges I do? His challenges are, I don't know, whatever. But it's can't get a good picture in the mirror because whatever. It's like me. I'm
gotta have energy for Friday night.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got to, and I'm just trying to show up. I'm trying to get out of the house without because I've got 2 kids of my own. But yeah, so I think that's really good to be able to say we want to meet our clientele where they are. We want to offer them something and be able to understand. Let them know that we understand them and. That's awesome. So, we are on the corner right now of Blakeout and Maury.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I put it in the maps and it told me where it was, I was like, sure this is right? Because this was kind of like I couldn't.
Yes.
And even when I looked over here, I was like, well, there are some buildings there, and that does not look like a gym.
It never does.
Yeah. So how did we get here? Like, how did we end up in this place?
So when we went to open this place up, Taylor joined me in November of 2021, and so we were sitting down basically, and we were trying to figure out, okay, is it time? Do we stay here and continue doing what we're doing, or is it time to make that leap out of the comfort zone, out of the box again? And like I don't know why, I was just like, you know what, it's time. We're just gonna do it. I didn't really look at very much. I was like, we just need to do it, so that we can grow. And I mean, it's growing pains all the time, but sure. But so that's what we did. So we started looking for places in Fremont, and we looked over Auto Mall. There's that big business park that's over there. There's like tons of places there. So we looked there, and it was just like, wow, no, I don't think this is the right fit for us. It's really hard to get to, this and that. Then the other place that we looked is in the middle of Fremont, right by the hub where all the new buildings and stuff. Yep. And I mean, if I'm being honest, I was like, that rent is really expensive right now. I don't think that's something that we can do at this moment.
Yeah.
And that was it was me and Taylor, and that was it. Fabiola hadn't joined us yet.
Yeah.
So we just started looking around, and we came across the Fudina Business Park here, and it just turned out that there was a chiropractor here, and he was moving to a bigger spot. He's actually in this building still, Dr. Joshan, but he was moving to a different spot, and we looked at this space, and it was already double the size of the garage, right? Oh. And so the other thing too, like the garage was great. Like I had it set up really well. It was nice and clean and stuff, but there's like my desk, there's the broom and the Simple Green from our, the mop from inside the house. My kids' shoes are spilling into the garage. Yeah. So, so we just opted. We're like, it's time. We need to do this in order for us to grow, so that we can continue and stuff like that. Because there is, I mean, as much as it's good, and I try to like praise anybody that is willing to open up a gym in their garage or do it, just like I did it, because I know how hard it is. And if it works for you, it's important. I have a really good friend that still works out of his garage, and he does great. But for what I want to grow and build and have a bigger place and additional places and be able to just grow the company. So the only way to do that is with a storefront.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, let's do the storefront. And then the other thing is like, I really wanted to grow in Fremont. So that was kind of the thing where it was just like, let's do it. And then we just happened to come across this place. And after looking at it, we talked about a couple concessions, and let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then
well, this is, I mean, honestly, this is the kind of place I think that I would really enjoy myself, because you don't feel too overwhelmed when you go in. I go in and look at all the machines, at the other gyms that are around here, and I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know. Like, if it takes all of this to get me in shape, like, I'm screwed. Like, it's just going to be like, to be able.
It's overwhelming.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then I just wander around from machine to machine and thinking, am I even doing this right? So being able to have a more intimate space and stuff like that, I think it definitely seems very inviting and doable.
Yeah. Right. We really focus on this is always so overused, but we really focus on functional training. And when I'm talking about functional training, I'm talking about more specific, like daily human movement, right? And machines are great because they keep you safe. You can get a decent workout on them and everything like that, but machines are really so that people don't get hurt, right? So that they can do the same movement. So you can do a chest press without having to be under a barbell, right? But one of the things that you lose with that is you lose a lot of the stability piece of exercise.
Yeah.
And right now, with how much people sit, that's so important. It's so important to be able to stabilize under weight, under some sort of load. I mean, if you think about it, people pull their back or throw their back out carrying their groceries from their car.
Right.
Like it's crazy stuff. Like, or they'll sit and then they'll bend down to pick something up, and then all of a sudden they pulled a hamstring or something like that.
I did that like a couple years ago. Not the groceries thing. It was actually something else, but it was just like, how did I do that? Like, how did that actually happen?
Yeah, and it's crazy. We have that stuff happen for people all the time, where they come in and they're just like, I tried to pick up my kid and I injured my shoulder. And I mean, it's funny, right? Like we're talking about it. When those people walk in, they're so demoralized. Oh, yeah. Like, how could I not pick up my little kid and stuff? And I mean, it's we've all had that moment where we're like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Right.
Yeah.
So
I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
No, I actually, weirdest thing, and my editor's probably going to cut this out of the conversation, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Don't do it. Just leave it in. Leave it in.
So when my oldest son was less than a year old, I lived in Baltimore at the time, and I was walking around the inner harbor Baltimore, and I had a backpack on, and I was carrying him in my arm, the crook of my arm, for most of the day. It was several hours of the day, and during that day, it didn't really, like, nothing happened. I didn't feel anything. Like, it didn't feel like it was doing anything. But I woke up the next morning and I could not feel my arm. Like, my arm was completely numb all the way down. Like, it was just like I literally could not. I lost feeling in my arm. And from that day to the time I actually got the feeling back into my arm was about 6 months. Like, it went from, like, it slowly worked its way down to where I could feel like my bicep, and then I could feel like my tricep, but I could not feel my hand for about 6 months. Like, it finally got I literally thought, like, I'm never going to be able to, have feeling in my hand again. And I think what it was just I had the backpack on, which was coming around the shoulder right through here. And then my son, the weight, it was just this weird thing. And I was a volleyball coach at the time. And of course I'm trying to, set and everything. And I just could not even feel my hand. Like, I couldn't do that. So it was pretty crazy. Like, so yeah, that's one of those things where it was like, now that's my 10-year-old now. And I have a 6-month-old again, and he's about that size.
Oh, hey, congratulations.
So I'm I'm not doing that again because So anyway, that was my crazy story.
Well, that kind of stuff happens to people all the time, though, right? Maybe not that specifically, but it does happen. I mean, and it's those little things, like, you joke about it right now, like it's okay, oh, haha, it's like a funny thing, a funny story that you tell, but like in the moment, some of that stuff is just, it's so scary, and it's so like, how, like, the first thing that people go to is I'm fat and I'm out of shape, and I'm horrible, and how did I let myself get to this? And we always tell people, because we have these conversations all the time. The first thing is, one, you're doing something about it now, right? Because if they're in here, they're doing so. This is the hardest thing, is getting in front of somebody and sharing this story with somebody you've barely met. But the other thing too is, these things happen because life happens, right? Like, it's like getting in a car accident. You can't do anything about a car accident. And yes, people could definitely be more fit, and they could be more proactive about being healthy and stuff like that. But if it's something that has not been in your lifestyle, like if your parents didn't do it, or if somebody didn't teach you that, it's like, how did you learn how to do it? If you only have high school sports, for instance, like you learn how to play that sport. They're not teaching you how to eat. They're not teaching you how to exercise outside, post-exercise,
and at that
all that
age,
stuff.
you can eat almost anything, and you still have the same results.
Oh, yeah.
Almost. It's pretty crazy. So when I came in just a minute ago, obviously this was not on the recording. When I came in just a little bit ago, I asked you how you were doing, and you were like, "It's January." So how are you doing? Why is January, like, what does January mean for a small business fitness? A fitness owner, like, or a fitness business owner. What does January look like?
Over the course of my career as a personal trainer, January has definitely evolved into something different, right? So when I started back in 2011 as a personal trainer, January was like, January's here. It's time for the resolutioners and stuff like that. There's that Dave Chappelle meme. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's him being Rick James, and it's him with his hands up going like this, leaning back. And it says in January, personal trainers be like, because there's just non-stop clientele. Like I have to get in shape and stuff. Right. And so over the course of that time, and particularly with COVID, January people are a little bit more leery, I think, and a lot. I mean, I really feel like a lot of people feel defeated because they're constantly like, I'm going to do this, and then they're not going to do it. So January for us has been very focused on getting our clients back on track because everybody's on vacation in December and stuff like that. So getting people eating the right way again, getting people doing their workouts regularly, and then we also have the people that are trying to join the program, and they're like, it's time for me to get in shape. And so this year, one of the things that we're kind of telling people is like, let's make January the last time you ever set a fitness resolution. Because fitness resolutions, like, they suck. Yeah. They suck. Yeah. I don't want to set a fitness resolution for myself. I'm going to lose 15 pounds. Like I don't, it's awful. Yeah. It's awful. So, if you can just do what you're supposed to be doing 80% of the time, and then the other 20%, just don't go ham on the ice cream and the cookies, and actually go out for a walk. Yeah. Like you can just remove so much stress from what you're talking about, when it comes to like your fitness goals and stuff like that.
So what are so here I am, a resolutioner or a failed resolutioner. Yeah. I'm looking at my life and thinking, man, I need to like turn things around. Like, what are like top 2, top 3, like what are keys for me to make that, to start walking in the right direction, to start doing the right thing? Like what would you tell me? I mean, you can tell me because we're, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. No, the first thing that I always tell people, or I try to tell people, is that first, stop spending all that energy talking negative about yourself. Like I'm not interested in that. I don't want to hear that. It's one thing for you to need support and feel like I'm just not doing the right things, and if you're lost, you have to provide that guidance. But it happens to everybody. It's so easy for all of us to we don't do something, and then we just beat ourselves up. There's this like horrible cycle that we go through. I'll even give you an example. Like I wanted to read more books in 2022 or 2021. Okay. I did not do that. I did not read more books in 2021. And I had told myself, we just get Audible and then you can just listen to books, right? And I was like, no. That's the weak way to do it. Read your books. Nobody does. Read your books. Yeah. And so it was like I failed that goal. It's horrible. Then in 2022, I'm going to read more books. And I had to I was opening this place. How was I going to read books? Right. Same thing. Right. So I just got Audible, and I'm already on my second book.
Way to go, man. Yeah.
That was like an Audible thing. I'm not getting paid for that.
That's great.
No, but it's just like I'm sitting there beating myself up, right, for not reading books, and it's like, let's find a different solution. And it's really the same thing with fitness. Like, yes, you're not going to work out 5 days a week. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Like, you're probably, like, people will tell themselves, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, when they've never worked out 5 days a week before, or it's been years, or 7 days a week. I'm going to work out every single day. I'm going to do 2 hours in the gym. And it's like, hey, you know what? Good luck with that. Yeah. When you're ready to really have a plan, come see us. Yeah. But just stop beating yourself up and stop with the 110% mentality. And those have nothing to do with exercise. Nothing. Yeah. Right? Because we can easily teach you how to squat. Sure. We can teach you whatever you need to learn in here. That is all something that everybody can learn. Not everybody is going to learn it the same way. Yeah. It's not going to be the same effect because everybody is different. But if you can walk into wherever, whether it's here or whatever space you're in, and you can go in with the mentality that some days you're going to be able to give 110%. And some days you're going to only be able to give 70%. But if you give that 110% that one day, and then you give the 70% the other day, you're hitting your 100% for that day.
That's great.
Right? Yeah. And that's what's important. It might just be you going for a walk. And if you can get yourself to go for that walk, and it's already more than you did yesterday, you're already winning. and that's the thing. Yeah. That's the most important piece.
In your experience then over the years of being a fitness trainer, have you found that mentality has kind of paid off in the long run? In other words, when you look back at the people that you've worked with over long periods of time, was that the kind of mentality that worked for those particular people, or is this something that is continually developing? Or I don't know, because I think about it and I think that you probably have seen their ups and downs, their 70% days, their 110% days, and all of that. And I can just imagine that being like one of those things where you're like, really the people that you have had experience with that have lasted that long, this is really what worked for them, or this is really the type of corrective that they've needed. Have you seen that over the years yourself, or?
I have, but it's honestly, it's probably the toughest, the most difficult thing about fitness is not exercise. It's always mindset, right? So everybody goes through a process of I could share this with you today. I did not have a great workout today. And I know, right?
I'm out of here.
Don't wait. Can we cut this part out? Can we cut this out? So no, but I had vertigo for 9 days, right? So I had really bad vertigo. I just got over an ear infection, and so I missed, I ended up missing like about 2 weeks of working out just because I was still recovering when I came back to work last week. So it wasn't the best workout that I've had. And so, I got a little bit down on myself. I really did. I was like, I need to be better because I'm the one that's supposed to be the example for everybody else. And Fabiola.
And Taylor's like, yeah, you do.
That's right.
You do need to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. but Fabiola she did kind of tell me, hey, like this is your first day back after you being, not well. And then, you got through the whole workout, right? Yeah. Like you did it. Like that was my 100% for today. Right. So that it's an ebb and flow type of thing. Right. And yes, I would say that the people that keep that in mind are the people that tend to see the most success because they're not ending up defeatists at the end, or they're not ending up as like an all or nothing thing. Like we have one of the people since we've moved in here and since I started the company, she's lost almost 60 pounds. Wow, right. And awesome. And she's younger, she's 30. But she is an ICU nurse. And the first 30 pounds that she lost was on Zoom, which she had never done.
Wow.
She was only working out twice a week because that's literally her 100%. Right. Like every time she was exhausted. Yeah. And so now, like her second 30 pounds that she's lost, or almost 30 pounds that she's lost, was here. She drives all the way from South San Francisco to come. Wow. And her biggest thing is now she loves to lift. Like she has different goals. Like she's not focused on the weight anymore and stuff like that. But the reason why that she is seeing so much success is because she is willing to accept where she's at on the day, on the week, on the month, and stuff like that. And that it just awesome. it just makes it less stressful, right? Because it's already hard, right?
Yeah. Wow. Fabiola, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Hi. You've heard the things I've asked Miguel. How long have you been a trainer?
I've been a trainer since 2018.
Okay. And what got you inspired to be in this?
So originally I wanted to be like a dietitian. I have my bachelor's in science in kinesiology. Okay. And I had to do an internship. I waited last minute to do an internship, and the only thing left was being a personal trainer. Okay. I tried it out and I loved it. Yeah. I love helping people, connecting with people, and learning a lot. I've been learning so much.
That's great.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah, so what are some of the keys that you've learned as you've worked with people? I mean, you just said you love doing this, you love working with people. What are some of the keys that you have found that helps people like have the right mindset and to like achieve goals that they have?
It's more about like understanding them. Because you can't just give someone a general workout. Hey,
it's not a one size.
Hey, go do this, and you're gonna lose 10 pounds and so. But learning to work with them with their schedule, with what motivates them, the things that don't motivate them, talking to them a certain way. Like for some people, hey, like you did great today. Like even a high five. Yesterday, one of my clients was like, I don't want to be here. He's like, I really don't want to be here. he had his best set of squats that he's ever had.
Yeah.
And I was like, those are the best ones you've ever had. Like, that was amazing. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And like just 5 minutes ago, he's like, I don't want to be here. So it's just learning how to communicate with them and
Yeah, I think it sounds to me too, and I think this matters, is that you're more than just a trainer or more than just somebody, a coach or like a friend, you know, somebody who's actually there that cares about them as a person and not just, not just you having a job and them, them showing up and that sort of thing. So that's really cool.
1000%. It's about like building connections with them. Sometimes even just listening to them. If they had a hard day at work, while they're on the rower or while they're warming up, talk to me about it.
That's great.
Just vent.
Yeah.
Get it out here or get it out on the weights.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you grow up around here in Fremont?
No, so I'm from a little town by Monterey called Seaside. I went to high school there. I grew up there, basically. And then I went to college at East Bay in Hayward. Okay. So lived there for a couple of years, and then I started working at the same gym that Miguel was at. Okay. That's kind of how I shifted to being in the Fremont area.
How does it feel for you to be in a big gym versus like this?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's like, it's quiet and it's very, what's the word? Like, I like the one-on-one. Yeah. Like, instead of having
intimate. That seems a little too, too close to Valentine's Day, but it's,
But literally, like, all of our clients, they all know each other. We introduce everyone to each other. There's not like 50 people hovering us while I'm training them. Yeah. So I like it a lot.
So what do you think is one of the things that scares people from making the first step to come and do what they need to
I think it's just them thinking they can't do it. Mm. And like I said, it's all about making sure that they can do it, going to their needs type of thing. But for a lot of people, I think it's them thinking like, this is going to be scary hard.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. I'm going to ask Taylor a couple questions too. Okay. Taylor, scoot on up here. So you're the operations manager?
Yes.
What does that mean?
I wear a lot of hats. Okay. That's what that means.
Okay. Okay.
It's not true. It's not. No, it's not true. It's not true. Yeah. I am not a trainer. I don't do everything. No. No, I do a lot of the back end stuff as far as the business is concerned. I help with scheduling. I help, both of their schedules. Mm-hmm. I help with like client issues that might come up as far as like their agreements, their memberships, things like that.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. What do you enjoy that? Like,
I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love, I'm a big nerd as far as like, I like keeping things organized and clean and all that stuff. So it's perfect.
That's awesome. That's very good. Do you what about the fitness side of it? Like, I mean, could you be a big nerd somewhere else, or like what how does this fit with your nerdiness and all that stuff?
Yeah. I as Miguel mentioned before, I trained with him at 24 Hour when I met him. And I have the same kind of feeling, like I love helping people. Obviously I do that with my other job as well, but it's so like rewarding to see people come in here. And like Miguel mentioned, it's really hard. It was really hard for me. Yeah. My self-confidence was awful. Sure. I didn't believe that I could do anything. I still struggle with that a little bit, but seeing people go through that same journey that I went through and knowing that they have a really good team behind them from every little detail that matters, it's something as simple as making sure that they're rescheduled on time. That way they don't have to think about it. Yeah. It's, it's important.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's really cool to see everyone like know each other, talk to each other. I've gotten to know the clients just from hanging out and watching them work out too. So that's been really fun.
Have you experienced, I don't mean for this to be personal, but it might be, but have you experienced disappointments in your fitness journey? Like, have you found times where you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is, too much. Or have you found that to be true for you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Literally yesterday, I had an awful workout. I was really upset. It's been fun. No, when you kind of reach a certain point, like I've lost the weight that I wanted to lose, which is great. And it was hard. And now I'm at a point where I'm building new goals and finding new things that I want to do. And to get there, I have to reach certain milestones within myself and figure out how I'm going to get there. And so when you don't hit them, it's really frustrating. Yeah. For me, it's not necessarily as disappointing because I've done it before, so I know I can do it again. Yeah. Because I've had that experience already. Yeah. It's more frustrating that, okay, like what am I doing? what am I not doing correctly that I can fix? Yeah. yeah, so the disappointment probably definitely happened like in the beginning, and everyone experiences that. Like, I don't understand why this is easy for this person, but not for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, more frustrating than anything else. So yeah, it definitely still happens for sure.
How long have you lived in Fremont?
My whole life.
Okay. Wow.
My whole life. Yeah. Cool. I only moved away to go to school at Sonoma State for 2 years, and then I came back home.
Nice.
Went to San Jose State. So.
Did you go to Irvington as well? Or
no, Washington, go Huskies. Get out of here.
There you go. Awesome.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. I told him after he hired me. So
what's one of your favorite things about Fremont? Like, what is it that, like, you have good memories of places in Fremont, or what's something that you like about Fremont?
Oh, I love Fremont. I think it's rare that you find a place where you truly feel like a sense of community. Like, even if I don't know somebody, people are going to say hi to me on the street. They're going to, like, I recognize people everywhere I go. Right. So it feels like a small town, even though it's not a small town at all.
Right.
So that was really fun growing up. Like, you could see people around at events, or like, I know... Halloween time, especially when they had the haunted house that's there, you see people volunteering from high school, or you just see friends that are around. So
that's cool.
Yeah, definitely just a sense of community. Like,
awesome.
It feels like a small town for sure.
That's great. Well, thanks for sharing your side. I'm going to get back to Miguel here. We'll wrap it up. So do you have a favorite place or a thing in Fremont yourself?
I am a regular with my daughter over at the Niles ice cream shop there. Yeah, I know it's a little like right in the middle, Union City and stuff, but we do that. We go there pretty often, and everybody's probably like, ice cream?
Yeah,
my word.
Like, I am going to go work out there.
Yeah, no, but we have some good experiences there. We're trying to be a little bit more involved, like from a personal standpoint of going out into Fremont. Like my daughter's favorite park is right behind Washington. Washington High School and stuff. So we go over there sometimes and stuff. And then I used to go to Lake Elizabeth a lot, when I was younger and stuff. So I really like the lake and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask one last question, and then we'll wrap it up. Where specifically was there a story behind the name Own It Fitness? Is there something that why is that the name of your gym?
I think I used to really just tell a lot of my clients, like, you just need to own it, like that. I mean, I know it sounds kind of cliche and stuff, but I mean that really is kind of the idea behind it, and it's not meant as like this hardcore, like it's not Nike, right? Like but it's just more about. It's more about just kind of taking ownership of what it is that you're trying to get done, taking ownership of the good, taking ownership of the bad, and figuring out, melding those together. How can you move forward and continue to be successful or see success?
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for letting me come down here. And if people wanted to find out more information about the Own It Fitness, you have a website, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Our website is ownmyfitness.com. We also have Own It Fitness LLC on Instagram, and then Own It Fitness at Own My Fitness on Facebook and stuff. And then I guess we can give you our information too if people want to reach out. And,
yeah, absolutely.
But we are currently accepting new clients, and then anybody that is interested, we always do like a free consultation assessment to kind of figure out where people are at, so that we can provide them with the right information, so they can make the best decision possible on getting fit and getting to their goals.
Resolutioners or non-resolutioners?
That's
You're
right.
all welcome.
All
welcome.
All of them in the age range, please. 35 to 50. Working professionals.
That's right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to come into your space and take over for a few minutes. But it's been great.
It's been a pleasure. We've been really excited about this. So please, we would love to have you back or anything. Sure.
We'll plan something down the road or
That's
something.
Awesome.
So that'd be great. Thanks, guys.
This episode was hosted and produced by Ricky B. I'm Gary Williams. Andrew Cavett is the editor. Music is provided through soundstripe.com. You can find links to our social media and other content at thefremontpodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe wherever it is that you listen so you don't miss an episode. And if you're so inclined, leave a kind review so that others can find the podcast. Join us next week on the Fremont Podcast.
So there's this joke about Arnold Schwarzenegger that he's such a friendly guy, and he's such a talker that he would actually like overwhelm people that he was talking to, or he would be late for stuff all the time.
Okay.
So the big joke here, and basically what he has is somebody like stands behind him, squeezes the back of his arm, and it's like time to, and it's almost like he just immediately moves on. And so the joke here is that Taylor is my handler when it comes to she's a
Taylor. So we have Taylor, the arm squeezer, that's here.
This is a Muggins Media podcast.